series through Exodus, and as I personally have been diving into Exodus 19 and 20, I'm beginning to see the Ten Commandments in a new light or from a fresh perspective, and it's been very helpful for me. I don't know if this has been the case for you or not, but I hope that you find a lot of encouragement from what we've been learning from God's Word. One thing that's been beautiful this past week, we turned the page to Exodus 20, and we began to unpack that the Ten Commandments are just the beginning, the first 10 of what will become over 600 specific commandments that God would give to Israel. But we see or hear Jesus describe that all of these commandments that really can be summarized as Mark 12, beginning verse 24 through about 32, is an example where we see Jesus saying, hey, all of these commandments are really summarized this way. Love God and love your neighbor. And you can even see that structured in the Ten Commandments. The first 7 verses are really all about loving God. Don't worship idols. Remember to keep his name holy. Don't take his name in vain. The last half, I guess when you pick up probably in verse 13 and 14, is loving your neighbor well, like don't steal, don't kill, don't covet, all those things. And so we see just this very basic outline of the Ten Commandments are love God and love your neighbor. And this past Sunday, if you were with us, we took the time to kind of lay out this matrix to see, even as believers, we got to keep in mind this commandment is not given as a prerequisite to a relationship with God. These commands are given to people who have a relationship with God. And so that helps us begin to understand, as his children, there is a growing process of sanctification as I learn to love God more, and in doing so with the right attitude and heart, that should increase my attitude and desire to love others well. And these work with one another. But the grace and the mercy of God is found, and even as his children, we may find times or seasons where we do this better than others. There may be times where we are doing our best to love God, but we're not loving others well, and so we tend to act more on rules rather than grace. Or there may be times where we find ourselves loving others well, but not loving God well, and that really leads toward a fruitless journey. It's emptiness because we're trying to find satisfaction in others rather than in God. And I hope that if you missed it, you'll go back and kind of see us unpack this matrix more, because in that we can find grace for ourselves and toward others. I don't know what your journey has been like, but I find myself maybe beating myself up too much, not showing myself the grace and forgiveness that's already been promised from God to me, or perhaps I don't do a good job of showing grace toward others when they aren't loving others or loving God like I think they should. And we serve a God who is gracious, who is merciful, who is long-suffering, and that's been repeated in the relationship that he affirms to his people in Exodus 19 and 20. That should also be encouraging to us as we find hope in him. It doesn't mean we shouldn't strive to love him more and to love others greater. In fact, we should strive for that, because that's what it looks like when we are trying to be like him to the world. But I encourage you to show yourself some grace today and this week as you strive to love him more in that vertical relationship, and you strive to love others more in that horizontal relationship. We see all of that fitting. And it's not just about like keeping the rules and checking off the boxes. Be reminded that this is rooted in a genuine relationship. That relationship leads us to conform more into his image. We don't conform to his image to earn the right for that relationship. So walk in that grace and that truth today throughout this week. I hope you find encouragement in this, maybe even a desire to pursue and understand more. And in doing so, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Again, check back to last week's sermon or the preceding weeks if you need to get some context to what we're talking about today. And until next time, God bless.